Now we're in section 1.2. 1.2, points, lines, and planes. So let's look at the solve it on page 11. Make the figure at the right with a pencil and a piece of paper. Is the figure possible with a straight arrow and a solid board? Explain. So this question is a little interesting in the sense that it's asking you like what factors are going to be in the way of building this, such as, the piece of paper is flimsy, but is the board flimsy? Or, the pencil straight, the arrow going to stay straight. So just think about that as we start looking at our key concepts about points, lines, and planes, and the notes that I have given you. Let's go to problem 1. Now this is going to be really hard for me to draw, so let's look at this paper here. So what are 2 ways to name line QT? Now, you can either name line QT, or TQ, depending on what direction you want to go. What are 2 ways to name plane P? Now, you can name plane P any points that are in the plane. So, like plane RVQ's right here, RSV. All right, so let me erase these so it's a little clearer for you. All right, so, and what are the names for 3 collinear points? Now remember, collinear means the points stay on the same line. So that means that RQS are on here. All right, and what are the names of 4 coplanar points? That means they lie on the same plane. So let me erase this and look at what points lie on the same plane. So we have R, Q, S, and V. So those are the points that are coplanar and collinear. So why don't you try the got it on page 7 and 8. I believe it starts on page 8. All right, so problem 2. We want to know what are the names of the segments in the figure at the right. Now remember, segments are certain lengths. They don't go on forever. So, like, we have DE, or also ED. We have EF or FE, and we have DF or SD. All right, letter B. What are the names? Oh, let me write them. ED, DE, EF, FE, and SD, DF. All right. So what are the names of the rays in the figure? Now remember, rays have an endpoint and an arrow. So we have DE, or DF. Oh, let's not make that backwards. ED, EF, SD, and SE. So you can see that order matters on this one because you have an endpoint and an arrow. All right, letter C. What are the rays in part B? Oh, which of the rays in part B are opposite rays? So remember, opposite is they have the same endpoint, but they go in obviously opposite directions. So we have ED and EF. You see that their endpoints are E. So why don't you try to got it on page 8, numbers 25 through 29. All right, problem 3. Each surface of the box at the right represents part of a plane. What's the intersection of plane ADC and BFG? Now let's first identify the plane. ADC is up here, and BFG is down here. So I want to know from these 2 planes, what is the intersection of the plane? So where do these 2 planes meet? The intersection right over here. So they intersect at line BC. Now, you see my notation. This is very important. You saw it back here. This is a ray. This is a segment. This is a line. All right, so why don't you try to got it on page 8. All right, problem 4. Using the figure at the right, which plane contains points N, P, and Q? Shade the plane. So let's first identify our points, N, P, and Q. So that is plane NR, QP. So this is the plane that contains all those points. Now, for B, it's different. Which plane contains points J, M, and Q? So, J, M, and Q. Now, sometimes the planes aren't visible from the start. So this is the plane. It's plane J, M, Q, P. All right, so why don't you try to got it on page 9?